Bullshit.
Can we learn empathy from virtual reality simulations of the real world? It's the No BS Marketing Show. I'm Dave Mastovich, CEO and founder of Massolutions, the world's only no bullshit marketing firm. Empathy, vulnerability, EQ. You know those are subjects of the No BS Marketing Show. You know that I feel strongly about empathy, vulnerability, and EQ. I also often mention that we've continued to evolve in a positive way for generations with respect to human interaction, leadership, and communication. Today, more and more people talk openly about empathy, vulnerability, and EQ. The question on this episode is, can empathy be taught, or is it an innate ability that we either have at a high level or we don't? A San Francisco company recently featured in Inc. magazine thinks empathy can be taught, and they've built a business model around it. The company is called Mursion and offers virtual reality training to help employees improve their people skills. Now, before you think, really? Are we playing video games now to try to teach us how to be more caring and in tune with others' emotions? Mursion's training involves having people interact with avatars in realistic simulations similar to what they do in their jobs. Managers can give feedback and see what the response is. Call center reps are able to work with frustrated customers on specific examples and learn from it. Salespeople can negotiate and see what the response was. Salespeople hate role-playing. They hate role-playing because usually they're role-playing with someone else in a room with a bunch of people watching. But now you can use this virtual reality AI and interact with avatars so salespeople can role-play without being sickened by it. This is all without the risk of any negative impact on your company or your own performance. Workers can practice simulations that wouldn't be easily replicated in other training. And a VR training study recently showed that VR learners completed training 4 times faster on average than those who learned in a traditional classroom. And they were more confident in what they learned. Okay, that all makes sense. I'd like to see more of it just to get a sense of how it actually seems. But in theory, I like the idea a lot. The pitch from VR companies is that their approach not only reduces risk, but it can be done faster and even at a lower cost once they achieve scale. Now, that's always the issue. When you have the new innovative product, it's often cost prohibitive for the masses at the early stages, and this will be no different. Right now, the virtual reality empathy training is most likely too expensive for small and medium-sized businesses. So Mursion will need to land some large companies as they strive to achieve scale. The challenge will be convincing CEOs and other C-suite leaders that this approach can be quantified and is not a touchy-feely thing, because some leaders still aren't completely on board with the empathy and vulnerability movement. What's the No BS takeaway for you? Empathy, vulnerability, and EQ are key to competitive advantage for any company, now and into the future. If you're not on board yet, find that BS button, go ahead and hit it, because you need to commit to focusing on improving your EQ. Be open, transparent, vulnerable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Empathy can be taught and honed as a skill regardless of your starting point. You can improve. I'm not saying that someone with low natural ability is going to become as good as somebody with extremely high natural EQ. But what I'm saying is, regardless of your starting point, you can improve. Keep your eyes on Mursion. See if this AI training from this San Francisco-based company using avatars can be a difference maker. Hopefully it will, and other competitors will come so they can achieve scale, and small and medium-sized businesses will also be able to benefit from this after the large corporations help those companies achieve scale by paying that higher price that's necessary. Thanks for listening to another episode of the No BS Marketing Show, recorded in our studio in bold, beautiful downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Remember, ask yourself, what's the big idea? And build your story around the answer. It's all about bold solutions, no BS.